That's where you are.
It's at the Begbroke Hill Staff Club. They're running a Spete, a Sports and Fates Day, at the Weed Research Organisation, Begbroke Hill in Yarnton. It starts at 2:30, and the sporting side consists of testing your skill at driving, football, cricket, tennis, darts, and other attractions include a lucky dip, lucky straws, coconut shy, skittles, and this is the big one, toss the lady out of bed, folks, because and she is very attractive and very scantily clad, I'm told.
Mark, we'll hear more about that from you
will
later on.
Indeed. I'll probably be seeing you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. And actually, do you know what, Henry? They've got things called wild oats. They sow their wild oats here, would you believe? They do. Anyway, with me is the Public Relations Officer of the Weed Research Organisation. That's Nancy Kiley. Nancy, exactly why do you do all this weed sowing?
Well, we have to study ways of controlling weeds, so in order to study how to stamp them out, we have to first produce some to work on, because we're a research station.
Oh, so what you do is you go around sowing these weeds all over the place and you need to kill them off afterwards?
That's right. Well, it might take us several years to establish a good population of weeds that we can then have in nice little rows that we can then go out and do different things to and see how we can get rid of them.
Sounds like a great job. What about weeds themselves? I mean, normally gardeners just pull them out without question, but are they sort of nice, or can they be nice weeds?
Well, our definition of a weed is just a plant growing in the wrong place. So you might even find that there's someone working here on potatoes, which can be a weed if it comes up in your barley crop.
I see, yeah. So really, even the beautiful rose in the wrong place is a...
Yes, well, the poppies growing in the middle of a cereal field, for example, would be classified as a weed.
And I noticed at the back here you've got a large weed garden. Is this something that's just grown up over the period of time, or is this actually for the experiments?
Well, we don't do experiments on that one necessarily, but we just grow a selection of interesting-looking weeds, including the giant hogweed, just to amuse our visitors. We don't actually do research on that particular plot, but we've got them out there all with their Latin names, and this year I'm going to make sure that they put their common names in as well.
What about potted weeds? I mean, could this become one of the in things in the future, have your own thistle by the side of your bed?
Well, there was a lady at the Chelsea Flower Show who came and took our thistle away from us because she was growing a biblical garden of weeds. And that's how we managed to get rid of our thistle pot at the end of Chelsea Flower Show, when everyone else was carrying away vast delphiniums.
We managed to get rid of the thistle. Never mind. Henry, the reason actually why we're here... Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I just like the idea of a thistle at the side of the bed after a heavy night getting out in the morning.
It makes the mind boggle, doesn't it? Yes, the reason why we're here actually is this afternoon at 2:30, the Begbroke Hill Staff Club is running a Spete. Now, a Spete is something that is mixed up between sports and fate, and it's at the Weed Research Organisation, Begbroke Hill in Yarnton, and in a few moments, or not a... well, it's in a few moments, I shall be testing my skill at driving, perhaps having a game of football with somebody, and there's also a lucky dip and a hoopla and lucky straws and a coconut shy, but the thing that really interests me, and I don't think I'm going to have a crack at this, is this tossing this lady out of the bed. What you do is I think you throw a ball at what looks like a door, and if you hit this little knob in the middle of the door, then this sprung-loaded bed leaps up and throws a young lady, very scantily dressed, out onto another mattress, which is something I'd enjoy. I'm sure you would as well, wouldn't you?
I think you ought to be on the mattress and get the young lady to throw the thing at you.
Yes, quite. I don't think that would be very attractive if I was scantily dressed, though.
No, thank you. Certainly wouldn't. Thank you very much, Mark. For the last 3 minutes, you've had a spate of Mark Kasparovich.
Try and have a go at croquet. It's something I've never tried before, and I've got in my hand a large wooden hammer. Hammer, is it?
Mallet.
Mallet. That was the voice of Annette Duval, who's going to try and teach me to play croquet. This is the mallet. Now, what do I have to do?
Hit that ball through that hoop.
So we've got two balls in front of us, haven't we? A blue one and a yellow one, and you've got to... which one have I actually got to hit?
The yellow one.
I've got to hit... but wait a minute, the blue one's in the way. What
Try
happened?
and knock it out of the way and get the yellow one through the hoop.
Try and knock it out of the way and get the yellow one in the hoop. Okay, well, look, I'm going to try and do this one-handed. I don't know how I'm going to... Henry, can you hold the microphone for a moment?
Yes, hang on.
Yeah, right, okay.
I've got it.
Got it? Jolly good. 1, 2... Missed it, completely missed it. Went over the top of it. Superb. Hang on. I'm going to try a side shot. How was that?
That was all right. We heard that all right.
What did I do?
Superb.
What happened?
Well, you missed rather, but never mind.
Oh, but the blue one went through the hoop, but that wasn't supposed to, was it?
No, it was the yellow one.
Oh, never mind. Henry, I think that croquet and I are just not going to get on too well together. So what I'm going to try and do is test my skill at driving. And if you come back to me later on, one of the things I'm going to try and do is to reverse the car up to an egg. And make an omelette. Or rather not make an omelette.
You're going to reverse the car up to an egg.
Which is lying in the middle of the road. And the idea is that you reverse with your little back wheel, just touching the egg very slightly, and not to crack the shell.
Thank you, Mark.
I also juggle with eggs, by the way.
I thought, I really thought when Brian was going to be away today, we'd have somebody with a little bit of sanity on the programme. He's worse than Brian.
Yes, I'm back again at the Research Organisation, and with me are is the organising committee. Chris on my left, followed by Max, whose real name is Colin, but he doesn't talk about it, and Trudy and Annette. Now, while you've been away, actually, I had a go at this reversing up to the egg. And we got through a set of 12 standard, and there's a nice omelette on the floor, so anybody who wants 12 mashed eggs, they can come and collect them after 12 o'clock from Radio Oxford.
You're going to pick the bits out, are you?
Well, not really, no, just going to shovel it up and put it into a large polythene bag. Yes, okay, what I was going to ask all these people about is one of the things they're doing here is they've got welly throwing. I think Trudy is actually the expert on welly throwing. What is welly? I think we've heard of welly throwing. That's getting quite popular now, isn't it?
Well, it's an ancient art, in fact. We're assured of this. The idea is that you have a line, which is called a propping line, a technical term in the sport, and you take your Wellington boot, and you may run up to the line, or you may stand there with it, whatever you like, and you throw it as far as you can, you see, and it must land within a 10-metre wide stretch. And the farther you throw it, the better, and the person who throws furthest this afternoon will win a nice bottle of sherry.
A nice bottle of sherry. That'll certainly improve your aim after a couple of gulps of that. Yeah, are there international rules for this horrendous sport?
Yes, indeed. Yes, we wrote off to a well-known rubber firm, actually, and they sent us a great long list of rules, and they did stress, point number 6, I think, that no artificial aids were to be used in the throwing, and we'll be definitely watching for this afternoon.
So no spring-loaded welly throwing.
Right, it'll be quite dangerous.
Yeah. Can we just come back to the weeds for a moment, because Max over here is actually a scientist, and he was telling me all about... He's a scientist, folks, get a load of that. He was telling me about a certain weed they have here from the tropics called, what was it, a mimosa?
Mimosa. It's actually Mimosa pudica, but we call it the sensitive plant, and what happens is it's sensitive to touch, so that if you caress the leaves, they sort of shrink away from you. And this, of course, can sort of kill it to death if you over-sensitise it.
So really, you need a psychiatrist couch for your weeds as well?
Yeah, this is true, yeah. It's a very unusual plant, though. There aren't many like this.
No, I should think not. Anyway, I don't know whether our sensitive disc jockey is still with us. Are you, Henry?
I've never heard of a schizophrenic weed before.
Well, I don't know. I think I've heard of a few strange things. It's certainly better than must be actually quite nice if you're a schizophrenic yourself, actually.
You must ask them about wild oats, because they're they're a curse to mankind.
Well, they are, actually.
I mean, the wild oat sort of wild oats.
Yes, they actually sow wild oats, and they actually tame their wild oats as well.
Indeed, yes. We have to keep some of them in a cage, It's that bad. They actually try and escape. If you walk round the back here, you can actually see them. They're trying to get out through the bars. And that's no joke.
What do you feed them on?
Anything we can find. Yes, mostly out of a watering can.
Mostly out of a watering can. Do you know that some of their weeds are actually dying, Henry, through lack of water?
I think he's pulling your leg, Mark.
I don't think so, somehow. One's just got hold of... me!
Okay, you take your Wellington boot, you throw it up in the air, and... There we are. Bye, Mark.
Bye-bye, Henry.
Just a minute to be able to hear
them. Yeah, not bad at all being able to hear from London. I can just about hear you from Begbroke. But the reason... Actually, I'm here in the depths of the Oxfordshire countryside, reclining on my back. In the absence of a lady to be tossed out of bed, I have volunteered. I haven't clad myself in a nightie. Chris Stent is with me, and he's actually operating the stand this afternoon. There'll be a very nice-looking lady here, presumably, will there?
There will indeed, yes. She's one of the most attractive ladies who works here. I can safely say that, I think, yes.
What is she going to be wearing now? That's the crunch.
As little as possible, consistent with the weather.
I see, and with...
It's likely a nightie if we can possibly persuade her to.
Wow. How about that, Henry?
Yes, go on.
Right.
I want to hear more.
He wants to hear more. He wants to know more about it. Okay, well, look, what's going to happen now, Henry, is somebody's going to have a toss at this thing, and I'm going to see what it actually feels like to be the lady being tossed out the bed. It's not very comfortable here. Well, I'll just settle myself down. Who's going to throw the ball?
Nettie's going to throw. Are you ready, Nettie? Ready? Go!
Ah! Henry, it's the most unpleasant experience imaginable.
Well, I tell you what, we'll play a record and then do it again for us later on, all right?
Yes, welcome back to the Weed Research establishment. And here with me again are three of the stalwart members of the organisation committee, and they're here to actually watch me bowl. There's about nine skittles, is it?
9 skittles, yes, that's right.
Okay, well, and I get 3 balls from a tenpence. And I've actually got a skittle in my hand. When you came over to us, we were miles away from here. somebody had to come rushing over here. Anyway, I've got this ball, Henry. Have you ever had a go at this, by the way?
No, but I'm going to ask you in a minute what it felt like to be knocked out of bed by a lady.
That's funny, actually. That's quite nice. Mark you, they didn't like my nightie, so I didn't get a prize for doing that. Now, hang on. This is a wood, I think. I'm not sure that this is all the correct kit. It certainly isn't a 10-pin bowl, and it certainly isn't a skittle bowl. It looks more like a bowling wood. So I'm just going to have a go at... Swings the arm back. Oh, that was marvellous. It went clean through them and didn't hit a thing. I think that was pretty awful.
You're going to fail on that, aren't you?
Well, no, let's be honest about this, because I did hit 3 down with one ball a few moments ago.
A few minutes ago, but not with that one.
I was sober then. You were going to ask me about the being knocked out of bed, Henry.
Yes, we had to cut you off a bit before the news, but listeners probably remember Mark was in this bed. You know, you have spring-loaded, and then you throw a ball and you trip the mechanism, and it's usually a pretty girl, but Mark got in, and you said it was the most amazing feeling. I wonder.
Yes, you're sort of lying there, and you hear this incredible clunk, and the next thing you know, that this bed has suddenly collapsed from underneath you, and you're rolling all over the place. I now have figured out what the best vantage point is when this actually starts happening this afternoon, so I'm going to get my deck chair, and my bottle of beer and my packet of cigarettes, and I'm just going to sit there and wait.
Just remind everybody where it is again, Mark.
Well, I would actually, but I've lost... Well, actually, we're... hang on, we're a bit disorganised here at the moment. We're actually at the Weed Research Organisation. That's at Begbroke Hill in Yarnton, and I actually got to it through Kidlington by going down Yarnton Lane, and you just keep going over the humpback bridge, across the railway crossing, and it's sort of fairly clearly signposted.
And what time does the Spete actually start?
The Spete actually starts at 2:30. And I presume there's lots and lots of car parking space with all these fields, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely massive, yes.
Do you have to pay to get in?
No, completely free.
Completely free?
You just have to pay to do something when you get here.
Just have to pay Sorry?
You just have to pay to do your thing when you get here.
Oh, right. Well, it's 10p for the bowling, I'll tell you that, and it's not as easy as it looks. So all these skittles are actually laid out with about a foot to spare in between them, and you can go straight through the middle and not hit a thing, which is exactly what I did now.
Okay, Mark, you have another go and we'll play a record.
I will.
Okay.
I'll try. The young lady who's going to be thrown out of bed this afternoon is with me.
I thought you'd find her.
Yeah. Funny that, isn't it? Very attractive she is too. Her name's Peta Simmons. Peter, how do you enjoy being thrown out of bed?
Oh, well, I did it last year and I didn't find it too bad. It's not exactly enjoyable, but it's not too bad, I don't think. You know, I only got out about 30 times last year, but I think if there's more people here this year, I'm going to find it a bit dizzy by the end of the afternoon.
It's a bit back-jarring, really, isn't it?
Well, it depends how you fall. After 2 or 3 times last year, I was getting it off to a tee. I could do it first time every time without actually hurting myself, because there's lots of mattresses to fall on. But you go over about 1.5 times and you get ever so dizzy by the time you've finished.
Do you fall gracefully?
I fall however I can. I don't have much time to think whether I'm falling gracefully or not. It's just a case of fall.
You're only wearing a very sort of scanty... naughty nighty, aren't you, really?
Well, it's not too scanty, and I shall have something on underneath it.
Oh, never mind, Henry. Oh, what a giveaway, never mind. Yeah, okay, Peter, I'll leave you for the moment. Wish you the very best of luck. Hope you don't end up too bruised. With me also is Annette, who's been with me most of the morning, and she's going to tell me exactly how the best way of getting here from Oxford, say.
The A34 straight out north, Woodstock Road, and you go past the Grapes and carry on into Yarnton, and it's Weed Research Organisation is signposted, and there's also a fate hoarding up at the end of the road.
It's on the right, isn't it?
You turn left down Yarnton Lane, Sandy Lane.
Great, okay, well that's how you get there. And the last reason, actually, we're standing here on this patch of very dry grass is that I'm going to have a go at the putting. Now, one thing I've never been able to do, one of the many things I've never been able to do properly, is to putt. And Alistair Blair is going to try and show me how this is going to be done. So what I'm going to do is to put my notebook down, which is in my hand. There it goes, plonk. That's fine. Okay, Alistair, now tell me, what do I have to do?
Well, really, you just have to put the putter behind the ball
and hit it
at right angles to the direction you want to go and hit it, as you say.
Isn't there a bit more style to it? I mean, surely...
Well, I think to start off with, you just want to try it and see. You've got to get the distance right, you know, but you really only do it by trying it and see, try and error.
Okay, well, for the first time in my life, I'm going to have a go at putting, and I don't think this is going to be very good, because I'm also doing it one-handed, Henry. That's my big excuse, and I'm blindfolded, and I've just sprained my ankle, and... Oh, great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, went right into the weeds, and there's enough of them in this place to be able to satisfy most people. Oh, dear.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh,
Very good.
I'm just a failure, you know. I've failed at everything I've tried today.
I tell you what, Mark. I think you ought to leave Peter alone. Leave that lady in the bed alone.
Oh, stop it.